Day 2 testimony is on later this morning in the trial of the men charged with murdering Ahmaud Arbery. Last week, the prosecution played video, heartbreaking, gut-wrenching video, the moment Arbery was shot and killed last year while jogging near Brunswick, Georgia. Prosecution's first witness, a police officer who responded to the scene, said, quote, "There was nothing I could do for him." Joining us right now, Justice Correspondent Candace Kelley. Good morning to you, Candace. It was difficult for us just watching parts of this trial. For the mother inside that courtroom, just as I said, gut-wrenching. Don't want to imagine it, can't imagine her pain and her grief all these days later. During opening arguments, the prosecution said this is a case about assumptions. How do you think that played out to the jury? Assumptions.
You know, I think that it played out very well, Sharon. Why? Because you have this compelling video of Ahmaud Arbery, who was on the ground with no weapons. There's no indication by anybody from the opening arguments from the defense or the prosecution that they saw anything being stolen, that they just assumed so much in getting in their cars and driving, supported by this, citizens arrest law, and then ended up killing him. I don't think it played out well because the evidence didn't show that. And in your opening argument, you are to explain, here's the evidence that we see, and here's the evidence that we supports our facts. And I don't think that lined up very well, Sharon.
All right, so Candace, talk about this because you mentioned the citizens arrest law, which they've taken on the book, but the defense team, they painted a picture of three men who actually, they say, were carrying out a duty and responsibility. When it comes to this citizens arrest law, from what you saw on the tape with them actually following him, confronting him, trapping him several times, and then getting out with loaded weapons, does that follow the law of the land when it comes to the citizens arrest law?
Listen, with the citizens arrest law, Mike, you have to have seen something afoot or something in action or had a really strong indication that somebody had committed some crime, right? That you were in the middle of something that you were going to stop. Here, again, we just don't have it. During the opening arguments, I thought, wow, kind of a waste of time. You can't initiate a provocation and then claim self-defense. That's just the rule of law. You can't initiate it and then self-defense. So it just really is unworkable all around. No matter how the defense plays it up, it is not going to stick. If these jurors, which they're expected to do, and they probably will do, follow the letter of the law, this will not make sense, and the self-defense portion will not work. And even the citizens arrest law, it has more of a chance of working, but that self-defense will fall flat on its face, Mike.
So let's talk about the first witness, Officer William Duggan, if we can, Candace. I want you to talk about what we learned from him. He shows up on the scene. He's encountered by one of the defendants, and I believe he asked him, "Are you okay?" And he got a response to that. But what else did we learn from him?
Well, what we learned from him is that when he came on the scene, we were able to see his video cam, and this is the first time that we saw that. This was actually video cam that the defense did not want admitted into evidence. The judge overruled that particular motion and that request, but we were able to see just this up-close, personal, bloody Ahmaud Arbery on the ground. And as you mentioned, Wanda Cooper, this was the first time that she even saw this portion of Ahmaud Arbery. She never saw the killing to the end. She just could not bring herself to do that. But with this particular officer, what we saw was, again, a support for the prosecution, that we have this person who was on the ground, no weapons in sight, nothing that was stolen. So we just have more support that, that there was no reason for this to happen. The other thing is that we see somebody that is on the ground potentially in need of help, and that's going to come up with the prosecution. Did this officer do what he was supposed to do in order to maybe check on his pulse a little quicker? Did he render aid in the way that he should have? How did he know that Ahmaud Arbery was dead? And today we're going to hear more from this witness, and we're going to hear more about that. How was he able to see the blood and declare he's dead? Why didn't he do anything else? That is his fiduciary responsibility. That is something that the prosecution is going to hone in on.
Yeah, he said something like, "There is nothing else I can do for this man." I believe that's what he was saying, and he actually asked one of the defendants if they were all right, and I think Travis McMichael was the one that said something like, "I just effing killed the man.
Right. He said, no, I'm not all right. Yeah.
Yeah. But you mentioned the pain that Wanda Cooper has to go through, obviously having to see her son dying on the street, literally dying on the street. We've seen the video numerous times of them chasing him through that neighborhood. We've seen the gunshot. We have not, and a lot of us, if you haven't been watching the case, we have not seen the footage from the officer, like Officer Duggan there. What kind of impact do you think that had on the jury? Because that's the first time I'm pretty sure that they've actually seen that footage as well.
That's right. You know, any of us, right? And in terms of just the impact, we had Wanda Cooper, who certainly was crying throughout the rolling out of this video. But then we also had a juror who is reported by a lot of notes that she put something up to shield her face so that she could not see the video. Obviously, a huge impact on the mother, on the jurors who thought that this was just too much. I mean, just a bloody body in the middle of the road for really no reason. No reason so far, no compelling reason. And that's just upsetting. And there was a warning that was given by the judge, you know, in terms of outbursts that he didn't want to happen. And if you felt that you couldn't see the video, please step out. It was just something I think that people couldn't have imagined because, as you said, these were jurors. It was their first time. So you had that shock and you could see it by the way that the jurors responded.
Candace, we got to go, just a few seconds left, but one thing we didn't talk about was any potential reaction. And I understand you would tell us what you've told us before as a defense attorney, that you would tell your clients not to. But do we know anything about the response during the playing of that horrific footage from these three accused?
You know, there were a couple times I saw where the defense, especially the father, Gregory McMichael, just looked away. He's done a lot of that, kind of looking down, not really looking at what was going on, kind of just very sheepish and really embarrassed, because I think he is about what he did, because I think that he even thinks just doesn't make sense and that he's going to have a whole hard road to go down in terms of winning this particular battle or case.
Well, let's see if that road actually leads them to a jail cell. We'll see if they get justice in this case. Of course, day 2 of testimony coming up a little bit later on today. But stick around, Candace. We actually want to get your expertise on the outcome of this the deadly incident that happened over the weekend at the Travis Scott Astroworld event in Houston over the weekend, and the lawsuits that are pending there as well. So stick around with us, please.